shocking truth about Meghan Markle's so-called cookie queens is being revealed after a disastrous appearance at the Sundance Film Festival.
I thought she behaved so badly, and Harry too. He blames the media for her, in his words, murdered her, which is complete nonsense.
Tom Bower, the legendary royal author, is sharpening his quill every single thing he has written about Meghan.
First person to say how limited Prince Harry is, unfortunately, and how his wife trades off her husband's fame and fortune, or not so great fortune now. I mean, this is the problem, but we're still interested because, after all, he's a great character in our modern day.
Meghan was angling for an invite to this funeral. She saw it as an opportunity. She's not wrong there. These big celebrity funerals, they're not like ours. They really are networking moments. I went to Joan Rivers' funeral.
Didn't want to, firstly, be seen with Harry, and secondly, didn't want to go somewhere where she'd appear cheap and give it gratis. And this year, she is desperate to be seen. Yeah. And that's why she turned up. So I think she has a major problem. I mean, this was a calculated attempt against the families. I mean, the one thing that Samantha Markle always predicted was
King Charles and Prince William are now at war over Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Donald Trump rebuke.
So Harry and Meghan want us to discuss the fact that they executive produced Cookie Queens and popped up at the Sundance Film Festival. And I'm happy to oblige, but not in the way they probably hoped.
Apparently Meghan Markle didn't even watch the documentary she produced.
Meghan, because that was the sort of person she was looking for, famous and rich. I don't think Harry feels any remorse. And I think that is the key thing in all this reconciliation. He still thinks that he's owed an apology from Charles and from William for the way they've treated not only him but also Meghan. And he doesn't want to realize that it's his behavior, his writing for money, being so unbelievably disloyal.
So she invited herself to that. The only place that she has a standing open invite to where she will not appear, a tragedy.
Tom Bower just dropped a revelation that flips the entire narrative around Meghan Markle's latest project, and the timing couldn't be worse. According to multiple sources at the Sundance Film Festival, Meghan Markle didn't even sit through the documentary she's been loudly promoting, and that alone raised serious eyebrows. But that's only the beginning, because the situation spirals fast. Reports say the theater had around 150 empty seats, and insiders claim major partners tied to the subject matter were not happy at all. What the film actually shows left viewers stunned, and it exposed uncomfortable realities that were completely ignored in the public promotion. What's come out in the last 48 hours is wild, and every detail paints a picture that's hard to defend. Let's break it down step by step, because the contrast between image and reality could not be louder. Picture this.
Perhaps. So he's, they toddle over to Sundance, where allegedly they have produced, their names are on the stock as a producer, a documentary about Girl Scouts trying to sell their cookies. It's called Cookie Queen. Edge of your seat viewing, okay? Now, there are reports the Daily Mail has that the Sundance screening had rows and rows and rows of empty seats, while the Sussex squad, those nebulous 10 fans out there, claim that it was a standing room only, sold out screening, because who doesn't want to watch a bunch of 8-year-olds trying to sling some cookies over at the local Stop and Shop?
Meghan Markle arrived at Sundance like she was headlining the entire festival. Red carpet poses, designer outfit perfectly styled, and that practiced smile locked in place. She delivered speeches thanking supporters for backing what she called a powerful documentary, but people who were actually there say the vibe inside the theater told a totally different story. Here's what Tom Bower uncovered. When the lights dimmed in that Sundance theater, and keep in mind this was a small venue, not some giant cinema, there were roughly 150 empty seats staring back at the screen. That's not a typo, and it wasn't subtle. Let that sink in for a second. At Sundance, tickets are usually impossible to get. Lines wrap around buildings, people wait for hours, and screenings sell out fast. But this one didn't, not even close. Sources say the situation got so awkward that staff members were quietly ushered into seats just to make the room look less empty. Even after that scramble, there were still an estimated 60 to 70 empty seats when the film actually began.
And it's no surprise, really, that it seems Meghan has no idea about the truth of the film that she is promoting, given that she decided to buy it without actually having anything to do with its production. But of course, Meghan's behaviour towards the children themselves has also been exposed. Look at this from the red carpet, where she really did prove that she don't like these children. She's not at all interested about being around these children. And actually what she likes is the very quick pose for a selfie.
Anyone familiar with Sundance knows how rare that is. And here's why that detail matters so much. Films shown at Sundance are often there because they still need a distributor. If a major platform wanted this project, it wouldn't be shopping for attention in Utah. That's just how the industry works. Meghan has claimed this project was 2 years in the making. 2 full years. If there had been real enthusiasm from a major streaming partner, it would have gone straight to release. According to Tom Bauer, that didn't happen, and insiders say the project was passed over. The optics of showing up at Sundance, pushing a documentary centered on cookie sales while presenting it as a grand Hollywood comeback, felt forced to many attendees. Several described the moment as uncomfortable rather than inspiring. Then comes the detail that truly shocked people.
I think personally, they've separated their professional lives, but I think what's really a great problem for them now, as of in the last few weeks, is that Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
Right.
The Netflix series is over. There's no great podcast. They don't generate any money. And I don't see where she is going from here. I think she has a major problem. And I think as of this week, the signal for her great problem is that she turned up at Kevin Costner's party for the emergency workers.
Tom Bauer spoke to multiple audience members who actually stayed for the screening, and their reaction was strikingly consistent. Many of them believed Meghan and Harry never fully watched the documentary they were promoting. Let that land. People who saw the film, then watched Meghan speak afterward, noticed a clear disconnect. One attendee reportedly said, "They always step right into it," pointing to how out of sync the speech felt with the content on screen.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the Duke and Duchess of Scamelot, they were at the Sundance Film Festival. I mean, what a fall from grace. Okay. They're at a film festival doing the red carpet like wannabe influencers and celebrities when they were real royalty, right? People would have been flying to see them. Celebrities who were at Sundance would have been jumping through rings of fire and hoops just to hang out with her if she were still a duchess, right? If she were still a duchess and living over in, London eating crumpets and scones, people would be jumping through hoops to hang out with her. And now she's having to do these desperate PR stunts. So she's invented a new career.
This wasn't rumor or guessing. These were independent reactions from different people who reached the same conclusion after seeing the film firsthand. So what did the documentary actually reveal? According to viewers, it showed how families are often required to purchase cookie inventory up front, not after sales, but before. Some parents reportedly spend hundreds, even thousands, hoping they can sell enough later to recover the cost. The familiar door-to-door tradition many people remember isn't the reality anymore. Attendees said the film highlighted financial pressure on families, yet that reality was never addressed in the promotional speeches. And that gap between what was shown and what was said is exactly why this story exploded so fast.
I just found it weird that she's doing a film on Scouts and then she deflects from the conversation around her own daughter being in Girl Scouts. Like, if it were me, if I'm producing a film on Girl Scouts and they said, "Would your kid be in Scouts?" I'd say, yes, I love the program. But it's also weird to me that they're even doing a film on Girl Scouts. Like, why would you be doing a film on this if you didn't think it was a good enough program for your daughter? But, we had some sleuths go in and look. I don't think the screenings are full. I don't think there's a lot of demand to go see Girl Scouts. I think there are a lot of empty seats. If you notice, Harry and Meghan, they're not posting any pictures of the theaters or the screenings or the showings. And so I don't know if there's a lot of demand for a film about Girl Scouts, to be completely honest. I think some freaks and disgusting guys at home might want to watch it, to be honest, if we're going to go there. I don't know young girls who want to watch a movie or a show about Girl Scouts. They want to go out and play with their friends. And so I don't understand the business model, but I think Harry and Meghan are just poor decision makers in general. And it's just going back to the original conversation.
What the documentary actually shows is brutal, and there's no sugarcoating it. Wealthy parents buy cookies in bulk, then flip them through social media, office networks, and private contacts. If you've got money and connections, your kid racks up success fast. If you don't, that door slams shut. That's the real message buried inside the film. It clearly shows that parents with cash can essentially purchase their daughters' badges, achievements, and recognition. Merit takes a back seat when money does the talking. According to viewers, the system doesn't even care whether the cookies reach real customers. The only number that matters is how many boxes parents buy up front. That's it. That's the model. Sell later or don't, the organization already got paid. But the film doesn't stop there. And this is where it turns uncomfortable fast. Multiple scenes show parents coaching their young daughters to be extra charming, rehearsed, and emotionally persuasive. One reviewer described it as straight-up guilt-tripping as a sales tactic, and that description stuck.
King Charles and Prince William are now at war over Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Donald Trump rebuke. Now, to be honest, I'm totally with Prince William on this. I'm sorry, I'm just putting that out there right from the start. What Harry and Meghan did by openly speaking out against Trump was disgusting, was despicable, went against all diplomatic norms, and also is hugely disrespectful for Harry given he is in America. I would argue at the invitation of Trump, who could boot the asshole out because he lied on his immigration forms, I believe, because I do not believe he would have been allowed in if he admitted to all of the illegal drug use in Spain.
The documentary shows girls being encouraged to lean into sympathy, hardship, race, disability, and emotional appeal to close sales. This isn't empowerment. This is pressure. This is performance. What's on screen isn't a feel-good tradition. It's a system that rewards wealth, punishes families without resources, and pushes kids into roles they didn't choose. Several viewers walked away saying it felt more like exposure than celebration.
No, nobody wants it. Netflix certainly not. But one of the interesting things is that I'm sure that she didn't have anything to do with it. She didn't write anything. She didn't, do anything to make it work well. And so she didn't know anything. And she said with the film, it's not just adorable, but one of the most powerful and meaningful depiction of an American tradition. Now, that's really nonsense. They're just teenagers, aren't they, trying to sell a few sweets, cakes. But she obviously said that because she didn't know what was going on. So that was her thing, something most powerful and meaningful. It's ridiculous. And she said as well, I think for me, to the viewpoint of a mother, I find it really inspiring. Well, it's not exactly inspiring, isn't it? Is it? It's just girls.
And yet, Meghan stood on that Sundance stage calling it one of the most powerful and meaningful portrayals of American tradition. That disconnect alone stunned people in the room. Then Tom Bower's reporting added another layer, and this one hit hard. Meghan was never actually a Girl Scout. She was a brownie, the younger age group for girls, usually ages 5 to 7. Here's the part that matters. Brownies don't sell cookies. That's not part of their program yet. Despite that, Meghan spoke at Sundance about her cookie-selling experience like it was personal history. One observer summed it up perfectly, saying, "She just can't help herself." While all of this noise grabbed attention, something major got buried. According to Tom Bower's sources, the Girl Scouts organization is furious about this documentary. Insiders say they feel exposed and blindsided by being publicly linked to the project. One source reportedly said this was not the endorsement they expected and not the spotlight they wanted.
That's not a bad thing if it's intentional. This time, it clearly wasn't. Now, here's what's interesting. I'm trying to gather more insight, and I even was looking up these reviews. It's well, what's it actually about? Is it anti-Girl Scout? Is it actually calling it out? But the little reviews I can find clearly, get into there's a couple of little things here I want to bring up. Girls seem to have subconsciously absorbed that guilt-tripping potential customers is part of the game, luring in marks with the pity for the vendor's disadvantages: poverty, not being white, having a disability, and a culture overwhelmingly rigged to favor little girls like white middle-class Olive. And so it goes in and talks about sort of the cuteness of, but then also the real fact here of just how much these cute kids are to get these cookies. At one point, they even talk about, luckily, Nikki's youth, sunny disposition, and agreeableness as our own superpowers, making her the hook, as the girls describe her, because other people consider her still cute.
And here's the detail most people missed. At the very beginning of the film, in small print, there's a disclaimer stating the organization had zero involvement in the documentary. None at all. They fully distanced themselves from it. Despite that, Meghan delivered a full speech at Sundance as if she were representing the organization, championing their mission and speaking as an insider. That move reportedly left leadership angry and frustrated. The organization now feels dragged into a controversy they never signed up for, and they're scrambling to separate themselves from the fallout. Now here's where the bigger picture snaps into focus. This project wasn't random. It was strategic. Princess Catherine is the patron of the Girl Guides in the UK, the British counterpart to the Girl Scouts. Sources believe Meghan saw an opportunity to outshine Catherine and jumped in without fully understanding what she was attaching herself to. No research, no groundwork, just optics. This fits a familiar pattern. They don't build projects from scratch. They latch on late. They don't create momentum, they borrow it.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are shopping their new Cookie Queens, a film The Hollywood Reporter described as saccharine sweet, meaning Netflix has passed on the movie. Despite this, the Sussexes still showed up at the Sundance screening, smiling, clapping and basking in praise. Markle, a former scout herself, revealed her favourite Girl Scout cookie, Thin Mints naturally, and gushed that the film was not just adorable, but one of the most meaningful and powerful depictions of American tradition. But what tradition is she talking about? Selling cookies or getting into debt? Because beneath the bows, badges and big smiles, Cookie Queens tells a far more uncomfortable story, one that some audience members aren't convinced the Sussexes fully grasped. As one Redditor who attended the screening put it, I was at the morning Sundance screening. I'm not sure the Sussexes understand the film. While the girls are adorable and their story's touching, the documentary shows significant exploitation by the Girl Scouts organisation. The commentator went on to note that parents are required to front the money for cookie inventory before a single box is sold. Something sometimes thousands of dollars worth. One family featured in the film reportedly struggled to pay in advance for more than 2,000 boxes of cookies so their daughter could try to win a trip to camp they otherwise couldn't afford. Another girl, this is the so-called Cookie Queen, racked up sales almost entirely online through a website built and managed and promoted by her parents, complete with videos of the child cheerfully pitching cookies. The girls are coached to upsell, to charm, to lean into cuteness because cuteness sells.
Rob Shooter confirmed there were 24 executive producers attached to this film. 24! Harry and Meghan were added last, joining in December 2024 after the project was already finished and locked. By the time they arrived, the film was already done, sealed, and ready. They didn't shape it. They just stamped their names on it. And now, every crack in that strategy is fully exposed. They didn't build this project from the ground up. They bought their way onto something already finished, slapped the Archway name on it, and showed up for the red carpet photos. That's it. That's the full contribution, and even that bare minimum involvement turned radioactive fast.
Folks who are there working, and they went to this screening and they said when it started, and it's a small theatre, this is not Radio City, this is a small theatre. When it started, there was about 150 empty seats. As the movie progressed, I think ushers or people were pushed in to try and make it look a little less embarrassing, but there still was about 60, 70 seats. What's really unusual is that anyone that's been to Sundance knows that these theatres are packed for the 2 weeks, for the time that the festival is on. It's really hard to get a ticket. So
there are often lines outside of screening rooms, well before.
What went down inside that Sundance theater was described by multiple witnesses as painfully cringeworthy. Meghan broke one of the most basic, unspoken rules of film festivals, and insiders couldn't believe what they were watching. At Sundance, Cannes, or any serious festival, the rule is ironclad. The director speaks first, always. The director is the heart of the film. But that rule didn't apply here because Meghan needed her moment. She was given a special introduction and took the stage before the director, according to eyewitnesses. People say she walked out like she'd just won an Oscar, soaking it in, smiling big, soaking up the attention. She thanked everyone, praised herself by proxy, and went on at length about the Archway team.
all of these elements that are baked in, dare I say, to the tradition of the Girl Scouts cookie season. So Meghan is very much now aware of this criticism and trying to say, oh, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. Okay, then. The question from Variety was, with two of the subjects being from California, Meghan, did watching them make you nostalgic? She replies, yes, without question, especially now as a mother of a daughter, there's a very different lens that you're witnessing it through. And of course, being reminiscent of my own experience of having been a Girl Scout in California, I love how varied and diverse the casting is. I love that you see some of these families and what they're sacrificing to give their daughters these opportunities. And on the flip side, some daughters were pushing themselves much more than their parents would ever push them, and how that's ingrained so early on. You see how multidimensional these young girls are, but also the dads. And this is interesting because it's when she speaks about Harry and how she thinks Harry performs as a father.
The speech dragged. Sources said it just kept going and going. Those same sources were blunt. The speech meant nothing. It was pure word salad. She talked about layers, complexity, and a modern girlhood experience without actually saying anything concrete. Then came the moment that had people shifting in their seats. When asked the easiest question imaginable, her favorite cookie, she couldn't answer it. Not even that. Instead of naming one, she dodged it with a vague line about how everyone has their own favorite. Classic move. Everything stays fuzzy, nothing gets locked in, because commitment might expose something real. This is the pattern people keep pointing out. Everything is performance. Nothing is grounded. She won't even pick a cookie because certainty might box her in. But here's what really burned the people who actually made this documentary. The real producers, the filmmakers who spent years working on it, never wanted Harry and Meghan front and center at Sundance.
Meghan Markle, yesterday, we talked about her brand new cookie documentary, Cookie Queens. Ooh, and I said it then. I'm like, is this a good documentary? Like, because the Girl Scouts, as we call here, they're called Girl Guides elsewhere. I just learned kind of the same organization. Kind of a questionable thing. Like, yes, it has its positives. Traditionally, it's more, richer upper class families that partake, and usually more affluent families and kids who succeed at selling the most cookies. It felt a little exploitative, if I'm going to be honest, even just from hearing what it was about, as these very little kids almost are paraded around, clearly with parents behind the scenes. And now reports are coming in that there's a lot more drama than I guess Meghan was aware of.
According to a source close to the production, the Sussex brand has become so damaged that the filmmakers realized too late that putting them forward was a mistake. When Harry and Meghan signed on 2 years ago, their image was slipping, but no one imagined it would collapse this far. Now the filmmakers reportedly regret ever bringing them in. Instead of prestige, their names now bring controversy. Instead of attention, they bring failure. One insider described it as the kiss of death for any project unlucky enough to carry their name. And here's the most uncomfortable part of all, especially given how loudly they talk about protecting children. This documentary quietly exposes a system that places serious pressure on kids, and they completely missed it. The film shows financial strain on families. It shows children being coached and pushed to perform. It shows adults benefiting while kids carry the emotional weight.
They're such dopes. They're such dummies. You come to me. Good luck selling that movie, because what real drama requires is some conflict and some tension. And if the only real narrative question in Cookie Queens is, will these girls sell all their cookies so they can have another year with the Girl Scouts? But the answer is, yeah, of course, because their parents have to buy them in bulk. Story's over.
It's over. I've told you the whole movie. I'm sorry, did I give away the plot? Maybe not. That's the whole movie. That's the whole movie. They stretch it into an hour and a half. It's telling that Harry and Meghan did not get up and introduce the movie. Normally the stars, the producers.
Viewers noted scenes that raised serious questions about fairness, pressure, and responsibility. None of that was acknowledged in Meghan's glowing praise. Instead, she stood on that stage celebrating it as empowerment. That disconnect stunned the room. Tom Bower's conclusion cut straight through the noise. They simply cannot help themselves. They always step into trouble, and this time it was spectacular. And here's the confirmation that sealed it. Despite the Sundance premiere, despite the red carpet, despite the speeches, there is still no distribution deal for this documentary. No one is buying it. The presence of Harry and Meghan has made it a liability, not an asset. The timing couldn't be worse. Netflix has officially canceled With Love Meghan after 1 season. They didn't quietly let it fade. They announced it publicly. That move sent a message loud and clear. Netflix wanted everyone to know they were done. Then comes the contrast that even longtime supporters can't explain away. Less than a week before Sundance, Harry was in a London courtroom describing the media as unbearable, saying press attention ruined his life, pleading for privacy. Days later, he flies to Sundance, walks a red carpet, and poses for cameras under flashing lights. The contradiction couldn't be sharper. Tom Bauer summed it up perfectly. You can't make this up. The hypocrisy is right there in plain sight. Even supporters are struggling now. The defenses are getting thinner. The excuses don't land anymore. And that leads to the final takeaway. Incidents like this reinforce why Prince William wants a clean break. No titles, no proximity, no confusion. They can't control themselves. They don't research. They don't understand the projects they attach their names to. Every venture turns chaotic. As one source put it, everything they touch becomes controversial. And this time, it wasn't even intentional. Tom Bauer has once again confirmed what many already suspected. Meghan didn't watch the film. The theater was half empty. The organization involved is furious. The documentary exposed uncomfortable truths she never acknowledged. And this is just January 2026. If this is how the year starts, the real question is where this all ends by December. Make sure you're subscribed, because if this is how the year is starting, you're not going to want to miss what comes next. Drop your thoughts in the comments and stay locked in. This story is far from over.